Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. I hope you're all doing good. It's your girl Sika in the house. I love you so much. I just want to say good morning. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we would all rejoice and be glad in it. I hope that we're doing good and life is good. I can't see anybody yet, but sometimes my phone plays silly buggers with me. So, yeah, I can see Hasifa. God bless you, darling. How are you? I can see Sister Grace. Oh, now I think I can see two people already. So I hope you're all doing well. Happy Saturday. Come and let's gist. Let's talk. Alicia, how are you doing? I hope you're fine. Let's see who else is coming. And let's get the show on the road. Hello, Carmel. How are you? I hope you're fine. Happy Saturday. Who else is here? Let's just get 5 more people and we start talking. Hello, Catherine. How are you? I hope you're fine. Who else is coming? And get the love hearts going. I want to see some love hearts. Hello, Mohammed. How are you? I hope you're fine. 2 people more. And I'm not seeing no love hearts. I want to see some love hearts on my screen. It gives me energy. Happy Saturday, Sister Grace. Hello, Penny. How are you all doing? Fabulous Saturday to all of you. In this life, we all have 10 fingers. And the 10 fingers that we have, they're all shaped differently. They all have different sizes. Some are longer than others. Some are thicker than others. I have a cut on mine. But, we have different fingers and things for different reasons. And each of them performs its own function in its own way. But it's all attached to the same hand. What point am I trying to make here? You might all be siblings or friends in a group. Hello, Emma, how are you? And we're all living life, having fun, and doing everything that we do. But even with siblings, everybody has their unique life and destiny to fulfill. And so regardless of whatever circumstance that you find yourself in, I always want everybody, including myself, to understand that we all have a path in life to follow. And your path is never going to be my path, and neither is mine going to be yours. Hello, Mr. Bernard. How are you? Sister Dorcas, I hope you're doing good. Happy Saturday. When you have this principle really rooted inside the core of your being, you don't just follow the crowd. You don't just do things because that's what everybody else around you is doing. You actually sit down and find out whether this thing that has come to your mind or this idea that you've been discussing with your friend or your family, whether it fits in well with your own life. Why am I saying this? There's so many people who are living on the surface of this planet today that have stressed themselves out beyond measure because they refuse to cut their coat according to their size. Some people are rich. They come from rich backgrounds. They were born with golden and silver spoons in their mouth. Their parents had the foresight to leave an inheritance for them. Right from infancy, the parents had enough to be able to look after them and even save towards their future. Maybe the parents put money aside so that when the children grew older, they could put down a deposit on a house or actually buy a house mortgage-free for their children. Maybe those kinds of people are your friends. You hang around them. You know some of them. So they live in a 5-story house and they have everything. It's good to have aspirations to want the finer things of life. There's nothing wrong with that. But you also equally need to understand that you're not them and they are not you. If you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, it means that, unfortunately, your parents weren't able to leave no deposit or no house for you. So you have to work hard and find that deposit and buy a house. If that is what fits into your life. Not everybody is going to buy a house. Not everybody is going to do whatever. Anything that you can think of in this life. Not everybody is going to be able to do it. Not everybody will get married. Not everybody will have children. Not everybody would. Anything. Put it. Fill in the blank. We are all not the same. That is just the truth of the matter, like the reality of life. And the sooner you understand that, the better. In the West, I'm finding a lot of people who haven't understood this core principle in the core of their being. Hello, Sister Auntie Vida. How are you doing? I hope you're well. And because Auntie Vida has bought a house, because Mr. Marvin is driving the latest Touareg, it means I must also do the same thing. So you know full well that you make $50,000 a year. If you're lucky, at the end of the year, by the time you've paid your mortgage or your rent, your utilities, your bills, you fed yourself, transportation and everything, $5,000 is what you've been able to save for the year, 10% of your wages. You've been able to save that. That's what you can do at that particular time in your means. Learn to live in that life and cut your coat according to your size, rather than going to put that $5,000 down on this latest Touareg because Auntie Vida is driving it, so I must also drive the same thing. Is your life the same as Auntie Vida's? Do you know what goes on in her life? For all you know, she's been working for the last 20 years and she saved up money. So now she has enough, or she's invested in certain things, which are now using a return. And from that return, whatever she gets on a regular basis, she can use that as the down payment on that Touareg. She has worked hard and she's now reaping the fruits of her hard labor. What have you done for yourself? Are you at the same place that Auntie Vida is? Are you at the same place that Mr. Bright is at? Like, you just don't, look at people's circumstances outwardly and think that because this person has been able to do this, that person has done that, therefore I must also do the same thing. People don't tell you the full story, Nobody tells you the full life story. If you met somebody today and you ask them, so now you're living in this house, how did you buy the house? They'll tell you, vague things. Oh, I was working 2 jobs and I saved up everything I had and now I bought this house. Or, I had this investment and it grew and then I had enough money and then I put it down on whatever it is, a vehicle or whatever. And that's how I was able to do the set thing. People don't give you the script one by one, how it was that they acquired or they have the things that they have. Hello, Jonathan from Nigeria. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Eve Charles, how are you doing? Sister Rose, how are you? You have a story too. Go share the story. Tell me. sikaeducates@gmail.com. Email me, darling. Just get in touch. I'll hook up with you later. Right? So in this life, you just have to learn to cut your coat according to your size and live your life. Because if you don't do that, I see a lot of young people. You're 25 years old. You've just come out of university. You don't even have a job, but you want a 5-bedroom house. How is that one going to happen? And so people are in all kinds of dubious things and trying to cut all kinds of corners. Just because you want to have what somebody has. So it must be mine. If they can do it, what is it about this person that is so good that I can't have the same thing that that person has? Honey, stop putting unnecessary pressure on yourself and live your life. Growing up, I saw somebody who bought a house, did the biggest housewarming party you can think about in England. Within 2-3 years, the same house was in foreclosure. Why? Because they were just doing things to please everybody. So everybody around her could see that she's arrived and she can also do what everybody else is doing. Owning a house, there's nothing wrong with that. Buying a car, there's nothing wrong with that. Being married, there's nothing wrong with that. Having children, there's nothing wrong with any of those things. It's part of life. And of course, who doesn't want to have good things in their lifetime? But honey, in wanting all these things, it is also appropriate to look at your own self and ask yourself the deeper questions. Am I ready to own a house? Because it's not just about paying the deposit on a house. The house is not even yours until the mortgage is fully paid. So this whole excitement about I've done this, I've been able to acquire this. The house ain't yours until you fully paid. You've just borrowed money that you're paying bit by bit by bit to be able to get where you need to get to. So the bigger question is, have I cushioned myself enough to be able to afford this house that I want to buy? This marriage that I want to marry, am I old enough? Do I have the mental, physical, emotional, and financial capacity to live a life or share a life with another human being in all its fullness? Because whether you're a man or a woman that is going into a marriage, if you're a man, you're supposed to be the head. You're supposed to lead. You're supposed to look after your family. Are you ready for this marriage? You are living in your father's boys' quarters in some one room. It's a mosquito-infested one room. And you're managing it, packaging it small. You're not even ready for anything. You don't even have a job. But you think you're ready to get married. Go bring somebody else's child. And then subject them to the same hustler life that you're going through. And then 6 months down the line, these same people are in court or they're arguing and fighting. Somebody is taking their frustration and their poverty out on the other person and physically abusing them because they just can't cope with it anymore. The pressures of life are too much. But the fact of the matter is that from the very beginning, you weren't ready for this whole thing. You don't have a job. You haven't saved up any money. The Bible says for this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father's house and cleave to the wife, and the two are one. Where are you taking your wife? The same boys' quarters, your father's house that he built for his wife and children, of which you've become one. This is where you're taking your wife and now going to have children in that same boys' quarters. Think about it. Like, are you ready for these huge things that we keep imposing on ourselves, that because AC has done it, and Kwesi has done it, and Florence has done it, and Charles did it, so because I'm Jerry, I should do it too? It's all nice. It's an aspiration to have, but are you ready to take up that mantle? Are you ready for the life that you claim that you want? And I'm also here to tell my sisters here in the house, don't allow anybody under the surface of this planet to put no pressure on you. You're getting older. Your biological clock is ticking. Everybody is getting married. So therefore you have to get married. Marriage is beautiful. Relationship, beautiful. But are you ready, in every sense of the word, to have another human being in your life? I see so many young people come in the back door, in my page or my messenger with all kinds of messages. They weren't ready for marriage. You're 23, you've come out of university and your mom's saying, oh yeah, just last week I went to Auntie Agnes's daughter's wedding, and 2 weeks ago I went here, and last month I went to this person's wedding, and you're 29 and you're still not married, and this, that, and you have to get married. Marriage is beautiful. Yeah. But it's as if we've made this thing like a rite of passage, that because somebody is doing something at a set time, we also have to do it at that same set time. And there can be nothing further from the truth than that. Look at the hands, the fingers that I have on my hand. Are they all the same? Are they the same height? Are they the same shape? Do they perform the same functions on this same hand? The answer is no. And so somebody's daytime is 9 o'clock in the morning. It's 3 p.m., 4 p.m., probably even nighttime in another part of the world. In this part of the world, it's morning. It's just turning 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. So if life in itself is very different and people are going through different facets and seasons of life in different parts of the world, why should it be that some other human being sitting somewhere is the one that sets a timetable and describes to you or defines for you or tries to prescribe how you should live your life just because that is how it's working for that said person? Hello, Shyla. How are you doing, darling? Somebody will get married at 25 and be married ever after. Somebody will get married at 40 and by 42, they're at each other's throats and want to get out of it. What a lot of people don't say is that there's so many people who are putting pressure on other people to go get married, to do this. You have to buy a house by this time. How can you be living abroad all this time? And are you trying to say to me that you still don't own a car? You don't have anything? Yeah, but my life is not your life. You don't know what goes on in my own life. I'm looking at myself and I'm cutting my coat according to my size. So many people have bought unnecessary blood pressure for themselves because they don't even know who they are. They haven't realized that we all have our own separate paths and journeys that we are doing on the surface of this planet. And my journey and your journey are never going to be the same. So you've bought the house, you've got the car notes, you have the wife, you have the children, but you can't even afford it. So every day you're working 3-4 jobs, but you don't even have time to sleep in this same house that you work so hard for. Because 24/7, you're leaving one job to go to the next, to go to the next, to come back from the next one, to go to the next one. There's no excitement. There's no enjoyment. You can't go on holiday. Nothing. Because there's just no money. So tell me, are you actually living life or are you enduring the life? I'm not saying don't buy a house. That's not what I'm saying. Of course, buy a house. And I'll be happy for you when you do. But if you can't afford to own a house and renting somebody else's is what you can afford right now, be satisfied and contented with that and make yourself happy at that particular time of your life. Because that's the phase of life in which you find yourself. Later on in life, and if it is God's perfect will that you own a house one day, you own that house, and nothing under this earth can take you away from that or can erase that from your life. If you were destined to be married, even if you are 99 and 6 months and 3 days, if God says that you'll be married on this earth before you leave, the marriage, it will come. Stop stressing yourself out and crying unnecessarily over things that don't even matter. There's so many of us who don't even have a job. You don't have a job. You don't have a life. You don't have anything. Instead of asking God to help you to find a means of survival, a means of livelihood, a job, so that you can feed yourself and not go around begging people all over the place and feel that they owe you something. Or be feeling entitled to something that somebody else has. You're sitting there rolling on the floor and doing all kinds of craziness because everybody is married and you're 40 and you're not married. I'm in my middle ages. I'm not married. Have I died? You can see I'm very much alive. I'm very happy, very comfortable, at peace with myself. And to me, at my age, peace is the most important thing. If you don't have peace of mind, you don't have anything. One day, if God decides that I'm also deserve to be married, I will be married. Until that day comes, guess what? I'm living my life in all its fullness. And so if I want to get out there and go see some other part of this world, I'll get out there and go see that other part. I'm not going to sit in my house and wear sackcloth and be mourning because I don't have a husband. And anybody out there who's sitting there feeling sorry for me is wasting their time, because me, I'm having the time of my life. I'm out there, I'm enjoying, I'm going out to lunch, I'm having fun with the people that care about me. So live your life and cut your coat according to your size. The people that you're seeing who are trying to portray to you on social media that they're happy and they're living their best life, I can guarantee you that 99% of them are lying. Because when your life is perfect, you don't need to make no noise about it. You don't need to fake nothing for everybody to see. The chemistry between husband and wives that are having a good time in their marriage, it doesn't need no announcement. You can just see it when you hang out with those people and you spend time around them. Many people are struggling. Some people actually talk to you and say all kinds of things to you because they want you to also join their misery. It's why they're telling you, you have to get married. You must be married. By this age, you have to have children. You have to do this by this set time. You have to do this at this time because everybody says that's the time that you have to do it. Your biological clock is ticking. Yeah. I know somebody who followed this whole my biological clock is ticking and my mother-in-law says I have to have a child for him because my son, her son is an only child and this, that and the other. Today they're 6 foot under. Why? Because her body was simply not able to sustain a pregnancy. She couldn't. Just medically, she couldn't. But no, when I talk about this story, I get so emotional. So nobody was listening. Her body was saying, impossible. Everybody says, no, you have to do it. So this young girl, she was a chartered accountant. She had her whole career, her whole life ahead of her. She went to get married to some boy. And that was her doom. This boy was an only child. The mother was a preacher woman. And so because of that, and by all means, by hook or crook, she has to have a child. The doctors told her it's not possible. You and your spouse should consider adoption or something. Go get a surrogate, like do something. Because this, it's not for you. Don't do it. No. So against all odds, she got pregnant. The lining of her uterus and everything was not, it just couldn't sustain a pregnancy. But no, she kept the pregnancy going. 4 months in, she started bleeding. She went to the hospital and the decision to save her life was to terminate that pregnancy because her body just couldn't support the pregnancy. Oh no. The mother-in-law discharged this girl and took her to the church. They had a whole prayer warrior team praying night and day for this girl, but she was still bleeding. So when they put her on that altar and prayed and prayed and prayed, and now she was turning blue, they now took her back to the same place. They had told them, this is what is going to happen. Now, there's 16 doctors trying to save this girl's life. She had blood transfusions everywhere you can think of. In her head, the soles of her feet, her legs, everywhere they could find a vein, they were pumping blood in. It still wasn't good enough. And so this miserable, poor girl who had suffered so much at 26 is 6 foot under. Can you just imagine if this girl had just been left to accept what had happened? Maybe adopted a child or got a surrogate if they could afford that. Or just forget about this whole thing and just live her life. Trust in God and just love the Lord for who she is. How different the story would have been. There's so many people who have put themselves in unthinkable situations because we refuse to cut our coat according to our size. I am grateful that I have family that are very forward thinking, and I don't have to endure or succumb to any of this nonsense from anybody. And I now have so much strength in me that if anybody comes with that kind of line of talking, I cut you out. I don't care how old you are. I just cut you off. Like, I don't want to know. Just leave me alone to live my life to the fullness of my own destiny. God knows why he made you the way he made you. Some of you are tall. You wish you were short. But God knows why he made you as tall as you are. Some of you are short. If I could just get a bit of height, if I could just be a bit more taller, I wish I could be a bit bigger or a bit smaller. I wish I was darker. I wish I was lighter. Like, you can't just win with people. Accept yourself for who you are and love yourself for who you are. God just made you just the exact shape, size, and color how he thought you should be. Is what you are. Accept that and be happy for who you are. So many young women and even these days men putting all kinds of stupid creams on your body because you're too dark. Somebody says you don't look nice enough. And you look at somebody who is light-skinned and you envy them and you want to be like them. What kind of craziness is that? What is that? Why can't you just accept you for you? I love people who are dark-skinned. They look so beautiful. Especially when you're so spotless. Ah, chocolate color. Beautiful. Accept you for who you are and love you for you. Have you ever seen any Caucasian going around town buying Marmite and chocolate spread and putting it on their face because they don't like who they are? Have you ever seen that before? I haven't. They love themselves without their melanin because that's how God made them. With their long straight hair and whatever else, whether they're blonde, blue-eyed, black-eyed, gray-eyed, green-eyed, whatever they have, they love themselves just the way they are. Why can't you love you for you? Why? So you go and put all these crazy things all over your body because you're trying to look like somebody that you're not. Why? Why can't you just accept who you are and just be who you are? I remember the time that I first got back into England. Everybody would tell me, before you can get a corporate job, you have to be a certain way. You have to act a certain way. You have to have a certain kind of hairstyle. If you do this, if you have afro, nobody's going to hire you. Yada, yada, yada. This is me with my hair. If you don't like, you don't like. It's fine. You don't have to love me. The value that I bring to the team, to my table, to the table, has nothing to do with this. This is how my hair is. What do you want me to do? And today there's so many of you who have gone to buy hair that looks like this and you're wearing it when your own hair looks like that. Why? Why? Why can't we just accept who we are as we are? Why? So you have all these nails and all these fancy things because you want to look a particular way. And you can't just be contented with the person that you are. And so you see, because you're not happy with your own self, you've gone to put all those fake things on and still you're not happy. My nose is too flat. It's too African. I wish I had a pointed nose. And so some people go and put all sorts of things and now you can't even laugh anymore. Your butt is flat. That is what you brought. Why can't you just be happy with that? Why? So people have put all kinds of silicone, this, that, all kinds of craziness And those fluids that are in there, when they burst and they get inside your bloodstream, do you know what it does to you? I've actually seen somebody who passed on after they'd done all this work to themselves. They pushed the skin on their face to the back of their ear. They did all kinds of nose job. They lifted their eye. They did all kinds of craziness because they wanted to look a particular way. Their lips are too big or it's too thin. They want it to be a bit more fuller. They want this, they want that. When these people pass away, go and ask the people who have to dress up people who are not alive anymore. And they'll tell you how much trouble they go through just to hide all of that. Because now that you're not living anymore, every cell of your body has just drooled. Yeah, very, very much of a nightmare to try and put some dignity on those kinds of people so that they can be out there if that's what their family is after. Go and ask people that work in the hospital to tell you what happens when people have bleached themselves so much and they're trying to stitch them up. How much the skin just can't seem to gel and things are just falling everywhere just because you're not happy with the person that you are. Apart from shea butter, the only other thing I put on myself is cocoa butter. All the way from Ghana. I don't put no foreign anything on my body apart from that. This is how I came. I'm not going through any trouble to try and lighten myself or darken myself in any way, shape, or form. This is me. This is just me, how I am. When the sun shines here, I get burnt, just like everybody else does. And when it's cold, I get lighter because, yeah, this is where I'm at. But I really love me for who I am. With all my scars and bruising and everything, I love me for me. Can you say the same about yourself? There's so many of you who can't even bear to look at your empty, naked body, your birthday suit. Look at yourself in your birthday suit and be happy with the you that you are. As amazing and as formidable as you are. And so because of that, you have to do all kinds of craziness to yourself. For me, I like to be natural because I don't like anything that makes me feel uncomfortable. I have nothing against people who want to make up. Hey, do what makes you comfortable. But for me, all I'm saying is that in order to be comfortable and love yourself, you yourself as the person without the makeup, you need to be happy with who you are. You need to be happy with how you look. So that it's not about all those enhancifying things that you put all over yourself to look a particular way. There's some people who wake up in the morning and they have to make up right when they get out of bed. Because they have a problem inside of them. They can't accept what they look like in the morning. I'm sat here and the only thing I have on my face is lip gloss because my lips get too dry. That's it. There's no other cream. There's nothing. This is just purely me. Look, nothing. If you can't accept yourself for who you are, where are you going? If you can't love yourself for you, where are you going in this life? The man or the woman who is meant to spend the rest of their lives with you will love you with your big African nose. If you're like me, your big protruding eyes. For those who don't have eyes and have tiny ones, your tiny eyes, just the way you are. If you're big, they will love you for you. If you're tiny, they will love you for you. That is just you. We all don't want the same things, you know. We all don't want the same things. There are some men who don't like women who are on the bigger side. So you're not going to like somebody like me. I'm not going to starve myself and become this because I'm looking for husband. This is me. If you love me, you will love me for me. If you don't, waka pass. Plain and simple. As long as you are fit and healthy, you know what your medical reports say. So as long as you're fit and healthy, the doctor hasn't said, hey, I think you need to lose a bit of weight because, there's some things going on. That's a different story. Go lose that weight. But as long as you're comfortable, as long as you're healthy, and this is you, my love, be you. And accept that you for how you are and how it is. I'm not the biggest boobed person on the surface of this planet. But this is all that God has given me. I can't fake it. I can't do anything. These are my boobs. If you like. If you don't like. That's just it. But there's so many people who are living this life and are so uncomfortable with their own selves. Even when they wear supporting bra with 10 sacks of mangoes in them, it's still never going to be enough. Because the issue isn't how it looks. The issue is that you yourself haven't accepted you for who you are. Love you, Love you. Because our Caucasian brothers and sisters, they love themselves to craziness, just the way they are. I don't know why we can't do the same. And we always want to do different things and other things because we think those other things is what is going to fill that emptiness and void that you yourself have imposed on yourself. If your name is Nkechi, enjoy your Nkechi like that. If your name is Chiamaka, enjoy Chiamaka like that because that's your name. If you're Dorcas, Cecilia, whatever your name is, love you for you. Stop trying to be somebody else that you're not. Because you're just not that. And you try so hard and you put so much pressure on yourself and you end up not living. You're just surviving, constantly in survival mode. Do you know how much stress hormones you pump into your body when you do that? Do you know why things are not going the way they are going? Because you're not even allowing yourself to live. Hello, Sister Patricia. How are you doing? Sister Sarah, how are you? Sister Teresa, how are you this morning? Just learn to love yourself just the way you are, my love. You're beautiful just the way you are. You're tall just the way you need to be. You are short just the way you need to be. You're the right size, the right color, the right fit. And if you feel that, you're lacking in some skill, you can fix that. You can teach yourself or you can go get knowledge. But one thing that you should never do is to not cut your coat according to your size. Because they're different phases of life and you just need to understand where exactly you're at in the life. Don't go and take on projects that were never yours to be taken on in the first place because nobody asked you to do it. Look at your circumstances right now, whatever it happens to be, and ask yourself, how am I going to be fulfilled? How am I going to live my life? If today is the last day of my life on this planet, what am I going to do with it? Some of you have taken on projects that are not yours to take on. When was the last time you actually went on holiday, even a staycation, where you just take a day off work and just do nothing? If nothing is what you want to do, just lay in your pajamas the whole day and do nothing. If you feel like reading, you read. If you want to sleep some more, you sleep some more. If you want to binge watch TV, you do that. When was the last time that you did that? But you claim that you're living. Outwardly, everybody is seeing you that your life is perfect. Because you're driving the latest everything. You have the latest cell phone. You have the latest gadget of every kind. But you're not happy because you can't afford it. If you live in the West, everything is credit card. So you can fake it till you make it with credit card. Everybody around you will think you're living your best life. But at the end of the month, when that credit card bill comes, you don't know what to do with yourself. Having access to credit is good. You don't have to go and ask your mother and father. Nobody needs to know what is going on in your life because credit card can solve the problem. But if credit card is not solving a problem that is tangible, you're being a bit stupid. I just have to say it how it is. If you're using credit card to buy shoes and bags and clothes so that you can trend like everybody else, you can have what everybody has. You can buy the latest Gucci and Fendi and this and that and Dolce and Gabbana and this and that and just be like everybody else. Honey, you're being silly. Because that bag that you bought for $200, once you use it once and you take it back to the shop, they'll do 20% sale on that same bag. So you bought yours for $500. Somebody else bought theirs for half the price. But you're still carrying the same bag. And that $500 that you took off of your credit card, you are now going to spend the next 10 months trying to pay off that credit card. And by the time you've done that, you've paid $800 for one bag that somebody else is carrying for $200. So who is stupid? Just because you went for a party and everybody else was dressed in this and that person had this bag and this person did this and they all arrived in this sort of car. So you must also do the same thing when your destiny and theirs are completely different. You are you, they are they. People don't have to love you for what you have, what you wear, how you look. When somebody truly, genuinely loves you, they just love you for you, period. It doesn't have nothing to do with how you look, what you did, what you didn't do, your appearance. There's some people who won't talk to anybody who doesn't live in a particular part of the country. If you're not from Lagos, we don't want to have nothing to do with you. If you live in Accra and you don't live in East Legon, it means that you're not part of the, but you're just a human being. And you're cutting your coat according to your size and living your life. What makes your soul happy? Living around snobbish people who don't have any depth to life, and it's all about what you can see. Or being around people who see the genuineness of your heart, and gathering or living your life around people who love you for you. The only way to know somebody genuinely, how somebody really, truly is give them money. Give them a high position where they can lord it over other people and watch what they do. It tells you a lot about how a person actually is. Cut your coat according to your size. I don't have any shame, any qualms about saying anything about my life because I'm living it on my terms. If $2 earring is what I can afford, I will rock my $2 earring just the way it is. Because I want to be comfortable on the surface of this planet. The number of your days you would only fulfill if you understand that basic concept. It doesn't make any sense to me that you go buy a house, you go get married, and you can't even have a day where you go hang out with the same friends that were there in your life when you weren't married. It doesn't make no sense to me anyway. It doesn't. It's as if you've put yourself in this bondage because you're trying to please society and what everybody else thinks it should be the thing that you are doing. Some people wouldn't have nothing to do with you because now they are married and you are not. So it's almost as if you're not being married is some illness, and if they come around you, they're going to catch it. There's some people who have been, I have this very close friend of mine who everybody has walked away from because she's got children or she's had a child that has special needs. Prior to that, people were on her, around her like mad. And now people have moved. She's kind of like an outcast now because she has a child with special needs. That's just stupid. It means that all those people that were saying yeah, never even loved anything about her to begin with. And so now having a special needs child is an illness that we don't want to catch. We don't want to hang around you just in case we also get that. There's somebody else that nobody will talk to or invite to their baby naming or christening or anything like that because and when they do, they don't want her to touch their kids in case she passes on the fact that she can't have children to their children. Like, some of these superstitious beliefs are just borderline madness. It has to be said. It's just madness. And so for me, in order to have my peace, what I've done is this. I've cut myself off of our community completely. The people that I relate to that are from these parts of the world, I can number them. I can actually count them on my fingertips. I'll much rather hang around a Russian friend who's going to love me for me, for whom my childlessness or lack of spouse or whatever doesn't matter to. We can just go sit in Tim Hortons and drink a cup of coffee and have a good laugh till we're crying and come back home. Then hang around fake people that only want to bring you down and gossip and say all kinds of craziness that doesn't even make any sense. My sister, my brother, lose those people from your life. It is better to be alone and be sane and happy and contented in yourself than to hang around fake people in your life. And the worst ones, the absolute worst ones, are oftentimes people who claim to be religious. They're the worst ones. They're the worst ones. Sometimes the very place that you're going to as a place that is supposed to bring you comfort, where you're supposed to have a sense of community and family and belonging, they are the very people pulling you down and killing the little spirit that you have inside of you to wake up every morning. Just because you're in your 40s and you're not married, you're almost 50, you don't have a child, you're 30, no man is coming. And we call this Christianity or religion that people should be proud of and want to be a member of. Know thyself, honey. And don't let anybody steal your joy. Absolutely nobody steal your joy. Find peace within your own self. I have mastered the art of making myself happy so much. It shocks me sometimes. I know what to do to make my own self happy, and it can be the most silliest of things that you can think of. I'd much rather lie down with my iPad or my phone, or sometimes it's just my phone. Go to McAngel Comedy and watch Manuela and the other one and have a good laugh till I'm peeing in my pants and sleep. And that's enough excitement for me. Then go sit with some fake friend whose face is telling you something different to what their mouth is trying to say. People don't realize that their words actually cut people's soul to the core because of some of the silly things that people say. As soon as somebody gets married, they can't hang around single folks anymore because you're not the same. You are unequally yoked. This, that, and the other. Stupid things that people say to hurt other people's feelings. Somebody wants to counsel you so that you can have a particular way of life, so that you can attract somebody in your life. As if, you know, like being married is being on a life support machine. And, you know, somebody has to kind of force a particular way of life into you before you can attract a husband for yourself. Everything is made beautiful in his time, not on human beings' time. In his time, he makes all things beautiful. Understand that. Accept that in the core of your soul. I am not the most spiritus person, but going to school and growing up as a child, there are certain basic biblical memory verses that we were taught. And the older I am, or the older I get, the more I'm able to find meaning and consolation in those words than anything else. Don't let somebody's interpretation of scripture break you down so much that you have no more self-esteem left. Like, you're just done. Don't do that. Don't allow anybody to do that to you. You do not deserve that. Love yourself just the way you are. Accept yourself just the way you are. You are enough just the way you are. Any man who wants to, you have to reduce your weight. You have to do this. You look a particular way. I don't like this. I don't want you to hang around your friends anymore. That person is trying to change you to something that you're not. The person who genuinely loves you for you, with everything that you come with. Understand that. And so don't try to diminish your value to fit into somebody else's mold that was never ever meant for you. To wear a particular mask that doesn't fit your face. It's not the right size for your nose. It doesn't fit your eyes. It's not for your head. It's not the right size for your mouth. Let it slide. The rightful person that's going to want you and is going to just accept you with everything that you come with, that person will find you. And oftentimes you don't even have to struggle. Let me encourage somebody this morning. I had this cousin of mine who had a friend. And this friend of hers followed the same rhetoric that most of us fell for. Because everybody is telling you, you got to get married at a set time. You got to do this at a set time. Your biological clock is ticking. Blah, 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 blah. So she did that. She got married. She was the most unhappy, depressed woman ever. And because she couldn't have no children, 5 years down the line, the man went and sorted his own self out, got some other woman pregnant, and the marriage broke up. Then she understood the things that I'm sharing with some of you today. That you have to live your life to the fullest because you don't get a do-over. This is it, oh. This is it. There's no second makeover. This is it. So if you think you can pack some years in a box and put it aside and then bring it out 20 years later, 20 years later, you're going to be in your 50s. And now you have walking stick. Your waist is hurting. Your knee is hurting. This is hurting. And so you can't even live that life that you thought you were going to live 20 years from now. Honey, live the life every day as it comes, as if it's the last one. Because you don't know what's around the corner. I've seen so many people work like a donkey for 20 years. Never ever have even 5% fun. Always work, and keep doing that. They thought, oh, let me get everything. I have to put this here. I have to do that there. And I'm not saying don't. But whilst you're doing all of that, also make time for having fun. Because there's no guarantees that in 20 years' time, you're going to get to that place. Now they're in their 50s. Diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, name it. So they can't even travel anymore. A lot of my uncles and people I know, they can't eat this, they can't eat that. The doctor says this, they have to take this pill to deal with that one. What is all of that? So now that they're older, they've put everything where it needs to be. But they're spending all the money that they had to enjoy, trying to fight to even stay alive. And they still haven't been able to do the things that they thought they would do 20 years from now. So, honey, sometimes we look at our Caucasian brothers and sisters and we think that they're crazy, they're stupid, they're wasteful. We say all kinds of craziness about them. But if you live here long enough and you're sensible enough, open-minded enough, you realize that there is a reason why every single year for 1 week or 2 weeks, they take their family, even if it's on the back of a caravan that they can afford. They go away into nature, sleep in the caravan. Hey, build a tent, sleep in it. Just grill barbecues, make sausages and thing, whatever you can afford. And have fun with it, because that time is also necessary. Hello, my brother Joel. How are you doing? Kwame, how are you? Right? If that's all that they can afford, they do that because it's necessary. They make memories that can never be taken away. They have time to unwind and rest their mind and get rid of all the hustle and bustle and the craziness of life and shut it out for 2 weeks or whatever and recharge themselves. And when they come back, you can actually see a change in the way they are, because they've gone to recharge their batteries and they're coming fully fortified to face life and take it by the bulls and the horns. What about you? You are just sitting there 6 years. You haven't even gone. You don't even know the next town after your town. You've never been. You don't know what goes on. If it's London, you've lived in London for 30 years. You've never even gone to Birmingham before. Don't know what Birmingham looks like. And you think that people who go to Birmingham are crazy. How wasteful can they be? Every day they're going on holiday. They are so wasteful. They're this, they're that. Yeah. Yes. One of my girlfriends here on social media, she had an auntie. This woman was a nurse or whatever. She worked so hard. She planned her retirement. She bought a house. She wanted to have a nursery. She bought all the nursery equipment, shipped it home, everything. And now she's getting ready to go. It's all just a few months and she's going to go home and she's going to start her nursery, blah, 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 blah. What happened? Cancer attack. Within 3-4 months, boom, kaput, done. So now this house, all the nursery chair and all of that was nonsensical. All of it was just absolute bollocks. That's it. I said it. Hello, Lubav. How are you, sweetheart? So please, live your life and cut your coat according to your size. Imagine if this woman decided that every year she was going to go away for 2 weeks. So one weekend she's in Las Vegas, the next year she's in Barbados, the next year she's gone to Spain, and the next year she went to Italy. Yeah, she died young. She died before she was 60 and she had cancer, but she lived. What about you? You've taken all the world problems. Yeah, United Nations. You solve all the world's problems. Everything. You've taken it on yourself. That only you have to do everything. So you're doing it. Learn to live. Like, live. At least give yourself what your soul craves to eat every day. Thank you so much, darling. How are you? I can't wait for next weekend, honey. I can't wait, Lubab. I really can't. I'm so happy that Lubab is here. Why? Next week, we're going to radio. I've never been to radio. If you're looking for a friend to chill out with, yeah, it's my sister from another mother. Lubab and I have got some exciting things to do. And that is how to live your life. Some of you think that because somebody else is doing something, I also have to do the same thing. But your life is not their life. Your life is your life, so live it. Live your life. You live in Ghana. You live in Accra. Have you ever even been to Kumasi before? No. You don't know what it looks like. You just hear other people talk about it. You've never been, period. You live in Ghana. Have you ever been to the north? Some people just think it's just some dirty place and blah, blah. Have you been there? Do you know how the people there live? Work, 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 work. Work, 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 work. That's all you do. And life is passing you by. I still remember when I was 21. I even remember when I finished university. Now look at me. And if I don't start living, before long, you're pushing Zima frame. Are you going to be able to go to Spain and Barbados and Italy and all those things in Zima frame? How much can you actually see when you haven't spent any time enjoying this life? I know that a lot of you who talk about other people going on holidays because you're jealous. You can't afford to do it. It's why you're jealous and you talk about it and say how wasteful people are and blah, blah, blah. Because you have put on the world's problems, United Nations, World Bank on your head. Do what you can. And whilst you're doing all of that, still make time to enjoy the finer things of life. My brother says he's introverted. You don't have to do it with anybody but you. I'm suspecting you. I've already seen you and your missus and the children doing all kinds of things. So I won't even mind you. I won't mind you. Kwame, I won't mind you. Introvertedness is not even an excuse. You can go and sit in the woods by yourself in a storybook and read it. You've still done something that is out of your ordinary. People have bought houses with patios. They've never even sat on this patio before. No barbecue has happened in your house. You've been living in it for 10 years now. You've not had barbecue in your own backyard before. Why? Why? Because work. You bought this house, you got this car, and you're paying this car note. You're doing this, you're doing that. There's somebody that I know who got married, and they bought a house, and then he got married. The wife wants to be in the latest Toyota Highlander or whatever. He himself is in a Touareg. And the car note alone is a mortgage in itself that the two of them are paying for the 2 new cars that they went to go get. Because of that, it's been 15 years. This man has not gone home to even see his ill and almost not going to be with that mother because he can't afford to do it. That is silly. Putting on this unnecessary pressure on yourself. And when you're building up all these, stress hormones over time, you don't know that you're killing yourself softly. You don't recognize it until the big illness comes. Because you've taken on too much. So, by the time he gets paid, the car note is ready and there's no excess money to put aside to do anything. And there's so many of you who are living lives on credit card because your expenses outweigh your income. So the excess is being taken care of by credit card. And by the end of time, maybe when you're not here anymore, when they sell all your assets that people think is seemingly there, and they use it to defray some of your debt that you left behind, there'll be nothing left. What kind of life is that? Because everybody is doing something, so you have to do it at all costs when you know it's going to break your back doing it. Honey, think about things. And cut your coat according to your size. Maybe that friend of yours who is telling you to go buy this car, she has different sources of income. Apart from her own income, she has her spouse's income. The father left an inheritance so she can sell that one at any time when she's in trouble to pay off her debts. You don't know. So don't look at what other people are doing and just do the same thing because that's what everybody says is the right thing for you to do. Live within your means. The worst thing you can do for yourself is to carry on unnecessary pressure and not live your life to the fullest. It's the worst thing you can do to yourself because you can see life passing you by. You can feel it in the core of your soul that you're not the same person that you were 20 years ago, but you can't do nothing about it. And you're not living. Take some time to do the things that are important. The people that mean something to you. Create valuable memories with those people because when they're not here anymore, you're going to regret it. Maybe there's a father that looked after you and gave up everything for you. Now that you should go maybe each year or the year after and spend time and hang out with them or even invite your dad over to come spend time with you. Because you are international, World Nations and World Bank. You haven't gone to see your dad. When your dad dies, now you're going to sit on Facebook and write all this nonsensical tribute that, so what? He was the best thing that happened to me. He was this, he did this. And my father, if it had not been for him, I would not be here anymore. Did you spend time with him when it counted? A lot of the times, our parents don't care about what you have. They just want to see you. They want to hold you and hug you and talk to you and advise you and pour into you before it's too late. When was the last time? You wait till they're sick and can't talk anymore. Then now you go and hold their hands and squeeze it and start crying. I'm sorry. Too late. So think about the things that matter. Make sure that in your life, you're putting things in place so that your later life, when you don't have the capabilities to do certain things anymore, at that time, you will not be in need. whilst also making sure that you're enjoying bit by bit by bit. If your cloth is 3 yards and your size requires 4 yards, what do? You cut your coat according to your size, my love. If the 3 yards that you have is kente 3 yards, go and put it down and buy cotton, white cotton, 4 yards, and fit yourself into it. Sometimes we take on things that are not our burdens to take on in the first place. That is what a lot of us are doing. We take on board things that don't make no sense. Look after your family, it's true. If you had parents that sacrificed everything for you, you want to do the best that you can to make sure that they are also comfortable. But you can't do that to the detriment of your own self. I remember posting this video, and I'm going to post it again, because I had a whole host of people up in arms. Are you saying you shouldn't love your family? But people just did not understand me. But it is the raw, simple truth. You cannot save everybody else's life and not be here in the process. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. That includes everybody. I love my parents. I do. They sacrificed everything for me. If I have to starve to make sure they have, I will. But I don't think that any of my parents want me to die looking after them. And they will tell me that every day. Because everybody needs to understand that core principle that, yeah, love your neighbor, but love yourself too. You can't put your own life on hold trying to save everybody else's. Doesn't work like that. So live your life according to your means. If I have 4 clothes for 1 year, and that's what I can wear to church for the next year, do you think I'm going to care who says 6 weeks ago she wore this dress, today she's wearing it again? I don't give a toss about you. Because I didn't come to church to come and for you to come and love me for what I'm wearing. I came to come and worship and praise my God and go home. So if you have a problem with what I'm wearing, that's on you. That's not on me. But a lot of you are doing things because, hey, what is everybody going to say? Last week I wore this dress, and now 6 weeks later I'm wearing this dress again. I took this dress to Acey's wedding. Now I'm taking it to Agatha's wedding. What is everybody going to say? Let them say, oh. Because when the cookie crumbles, you're on your own. You are on your own. It's because of some of these things that people are doing all kinds of crazy things in order to fix themselves into a mold or a box that was never yours to be sitting inside in the first place. And so people have taken on debts that have nothing to do with you in the first place. Because you didn't learn to do the things that were in your power to do at the time when it needed to be done. A word to the wise, they say, is enough. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof is kaput, not being here anymore. Live your life on your terms. Know yourself for who you are. And always look for peace in everything. Racking up your blood pressure by working 4 jobs to have things that everybody else says is good for you because everybody else says you have to have that thing. When you're 6 foot under, people will cry for you for 3 days. Once you go the 6 foot under and they pour all the net and dust and everything on, people forget. You'll be lucky if you have 2 or 3 people who still remember you after a year. So stop killing yourself for unnecessary people. I see so many people sending money to people. I have to pay this one school fees. I have to do this for this person. Everything is on me and this. But you have never bought anything for yourself in the last 5 years. Never. Can't even go and sit down and eat. If you want to have poached salmon and kale salad and with avocado, you can't afford it in a restaurant. But you're busy paying somebody's school fees in South Africa. The person is busy having fun. You're paying school fees in Ghana. The person is out there. Go and see their social media page. They look better than you. There is something quite wrong there. You've left yourself. You're eating rice and pepper every day. And they are there eating fufu every day. And enjoying their life. And you are paying school fees. I'm not saying don't pay school fees. But think about it. Cut your coat according to your size. Think about what I've said. Think about it. I know somebody who would work 3 jobs, pay the brother's school fees, did everything. Then she was trying to put up a house or something and she needed the brother to help out. The brother looked her in the eye and told, the fact that you paid my school fees does not mean that I become your errand boy, that you be using me and be asking me to do all kinds of things for you. I have my own life to live. Yeah. Yeah. And now she's so upset about it. She'll tell everybody and their dog that will listen. This story that I'm telling you. You have medications that you should buy for yourself. You stop buying. You have vitamins that you should buy for your own self to make yourself better. You won't buy those because you're busy paying somebody else's school fees. Yeah, at the end of it, you are sick. Do you think that person whose school fees you were paying will live their busy life and come and sit with you and clean you up, feed you, cut your hair, groom you, and be happy doing it? No. Most people very, very quickly forget, you know. People move on into the sunset. Like, you don't matter anymore. After you've done good to them. So factor your own self and your own happiness. Some people call it selfishness, but I call it self-love and self-preservation. By all means, be good to people if you're able to. By all means, be kind if you can afford to. But that doesn't mean that in the process of being kind, you lose your life. Or you are in the red. Not to your detriment. Because it doesn't make any sense. You don't owe anybody anything. Nobody owes you anything either. So that entitlement mentality, which is a video we'll talk about also separately, another issue completely, should not even be a factor here. People are using all kinds of emotional blackmail to hold people in bondages that are never theirs to be in. And when I did this for you, and because I did this for you, and because I did that for you, no. Love your parents, look after them. That's biblical, yeah. But you can only give what you have and what you can afford. You can't come and not be here anymore because you have other things to do. Your parents chose to have you. Now, you are also married and have your own children. Anybody who sat on this platform working hard to look after children because they're expecting their children to turn around and look after you, my darling, think again. You better start saving for your own retirement and take that burden off your children. Because look at the world we live in now. Even you, are you surviving? Is it fair that your mom and your dad expects that you have to work hard and look after them? If you don't like it, don't put that pressure on your children. But there's so many people who have that same silly mindset in their mind that they're looking after their children in the hope that when they are old and tattered, their children will look after them back. But at that time, your child also has their family. They have a mortgage to pay or rent to pay. They have utilities. They have a husband or a wife with children. They have to do all of that first. You're not top priority anymore. So whilst you're doing all of that, think about your own self as well. What's going to happen to me? What investments am I making? So that later on when I'm sick, I can care for myself. I'm not waiting for my child to come from Bodo Ibo and buy me and bring me $2,000 before I can afford my medicine or to go see doctor. You have to put those things in place. Yeah, they'll support you if they can. But these days, these Oyibo children, they have a different mindset. They'll tell you they never asked you to have them. And you can't disagree with them. They didn't ask you to. When you were happily doing mama and papa and having them, did they call you? No. You chose to have them. It's your job to look after them. It doesn't mean that they owe you anything. If later on in life, they themselves can't even see their left from right, and now you are sick and you want them to do things for you, it doesn't happen like that. I have to tell you the hard truth because it's the truth. And the truth alone will set you free. So think about all these things and make a plan for your own self too. Saving for your pension is part of life. Make a plan for that. Going out on holiday is part of life. Make a plan for that too. Taking time and just saying, look, I've worked so hard for the last 2 weeks. I'm taking today off. It's my day off. It's very necessary. Go do your blood work. Go get your health check done. Go do whatever. Go for walks. Go visit somebody. Have a good laugh. Take your friend out to lunch or dinner and sit and talk. It's also part of life. Don't wait till it's too late. And you're in your 60s and you can't do any of that anymore because your body doesn't even allow you to. And then be bitter and wish that you had done things a different way. Well, it's too late. It's too late. This is the time right now to do whatever needs to happen. I've said it enough. You've been here long enough. I love you so much. Whoever has ears, let them hear. Share this video. Somebody needs to hear this word today. It's been pressing hard on my heart to say for a very long time. Today, I have said it. Think about what I've said. Think about it. And see if some of what I've said hasn't made any sense to you at all. Sister Dorcas, God bless you. Thank you so much. This woman just knows how to love me. Mwah. I love you so much. Penny, God bless you. Share this video, please. Somebody needs to hear this. And ladies and gentlemen, everybody hiding there in the background, I don't know who's watching anymore. Learn to love yourself for you. Don't allow anybody to put you in no mold or box that is not meant for you. You can only do what you're able to do. Do that. Some women putting undue pressures on their husband. Can't you see this person and the husband have bought a house? This person and the husband have done this. They've bought land. They've done this. So we too, we have to do the same thing. Everything is made beautiful in his time. And it carries with it no sorrow. When it's done at the right time, there's never anything untoward with the blessing. If you rush the blessing, it gets burnt. If you rush the blessing, it comes prematurely. It dies because it wasn't the time for the blessing. Think about it. Think about it. I love you so much, guys. Only the best for my social media family. I can only tell you the truth about life. Nothing but the truth. May the heavens bless you. May you get everything that you desire as we end this week, as we enter the new one. Everything that you want. That. See that in your life in the coming weeks ahead. God bless you too, Sister Dorcas. I love you so much. Have a fantastic Saturday. Share this video. There's so many of us here on Facebook and so little of us on YouTube. I want to grow the YouTube family. This word cannot just stay on Facebook. We need to get out there. Please help me. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go on YouTube, type Sika Educates. The same name on YouTube. And subscribe to that channel. Imagine if 10% of us here were over there. How much of a happier place it would be. I love you so much. Think about what I've said. Let it actually sink into the core of your being. And make the necessary changes now, whilst you have the abilities to do so. Sometimes just getting away for the weekend, just 24 hours of nothing, brings all kinds of ideas flooding in your mind. God is not able to talk to you because you're so busy. Stillness is necessary for new and fresh ideas to come to your mind. Think about that too. I love you so much. Have a lovely Saturday. And I just might come back later on in the day. Who knows? God bless you. Bye.